What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And we have some big breaking news from Nancy Pelosi and also from White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Some huge news from him. And people are up in arms about what they're saying. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. And before I forget, I'm going to be starting the What's in the Box contest in the next video tonight at 8 p.m. If you can guess what's in that box, you could receive money directly from me just for guessing what's in the box. I'll be giving you clues on every video from here on out, starting with tonight's video, 8 p.m. So make sure to stay tuned because it's a really fun game to play. And don't forget to give this video a like down below. It really helps out our channel. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos coming out. You can click the bell icon if you want to be notified every time we go live. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day regarding the second stimulus check, the unemployment, and related news. And we bring it all to you in a quick, concise video. Nancy Pelosi says that a new stimulus pack agreement could happen this week and accuses Republicans of moving the goalpost. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that an agreement on the stimulus package, which is still being negotiated, quote, could happen this week, but also accused the Republicans of moving the goalpost. She says, quote, people need help right away. What I say to them, though, what we are doing right now is to make the bill bigger, better, and safer for you, and benefits will be retroactive. She says we're making concessions too, you know. Senate Majority Leader Mitch MCConnell has said keep working, and he doesn't want to do it before the election. We want to do it as soon as possible. She says, quote, it could happen this week in the House, but that's up to Mitch as to whether it would happen in the Senate and go to the president's desk before the election, which is our hope and prayer. Now, a lot of people have been accusing Nancy Pelosi of purposely delaying the stimulus check negotiations until after the election because she doesn't want to help President Donald Trump. But there's now a lot of talk that she might try to get an agreement or even pass it right before the election because she doesn't think it will help out the president anymore because people will have made up their minds this close to the election. There's also a lot of concern among Democrats, especially House Democrats, that they will lose their negotiating leverage after the election. Whether President Donald Trump does win the election or doesn't win the election, there's concern among Democrats that they will lose their leverage to pass a stimulus package and may then have to concede to a lot more Republican demands if they need to pass this after the election. And Democrats are now pushing Nancy Pelosi to take the deal before the election because they basically don't want to have the Republicans control the negotiations, which they may do after the election if the Democrats can't push it through before the election. Because honestly, the president has been desperate to pass this before the election because obviously he wants to win the election and he wants to help out the American people at the same time. But after the election, he no longer has that first incentive of the election helping him at all with the stimulus package. And Democrats fear that they're going to lose all their leverage after the election and they will have no more negotiating leverage at all. Also, big breaking news today, Vice President Mike Pence has had 5 people in his staff test positive for the virus that are very close to him. And the Vice President and the Vice President's wife, Karen Pence, have tested negative for the virus this weekend. But that is exactly how President Trump got the virus. He had his chief of staff and his immediate working staff next to him test positive for the virus. And then within the next few days, President Donald Trump came out with the news that he had tested positive for the virus. Also, news today coming from White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows that people are enraged about because White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows says that they are not going to control the pandemic anymore. Let me show you.
Mark Short has been in close contact with Vice President Pence. I mean,
Right.
They are
That's
always
correct.
with each other. Short is now positive for the virus.
That's correct.
So CDC guidelines say that Vice President Pence should quarantine for 14 days. Now, I understand the White House is trying to get around that by saying the Vice President is an essential worker. But Mark, how is going all over the country, how is that campaigning? How is that essential work? It's not like he's helping to contain the virus. In fact, the opposite. He's holding rallies that could be spreading the virus.
Well, actually, he's not just campaigning, he's working. We saw a Middle East peace agreement with Sudan in the Oval Office that the president engaged in. And for anybody to suggest that the president has been out campaigning and not getting things done, all you have to do is look at the facts.
He was at a campaign rally in Tallahassee. He was just in a campaign rally in Tallahassee.
I'm not saying he's not campaigning. I'm saying that that is only part of what he's doing. And as we look at that, essential personnel, whether it's the vice president of the United States or anyone else,
but he's not
has to continue on.
CDC guidelines.
Well, no, Jake, CDC guidelines does say essential personnel.
Yes, it says wear a mask. If they wear a mask.
And I spoke to the vice president last night at midnight. And I can tell you that what he's doing is wearing a mask, socially distancing, and when he goes up to speak, he will take the mask off, put it back on. But he's wearing a mask as it relates to this particular thing because the doctors have advised him to do that. And so, Jake, when we start to look at this, here's where we really need to make sure. On your website yesterday, Jake, your website is talking about, well, now we think the spread is coming from small social groups and family groups. First it was large groups, now it's small groups.
It's coming from all sorts of places.
Well,
it's coming from all sorts of places because the pandemic's out of control.
So here's what we have to do. We're not going to control the pandemic. We are going to control the fact that we get vaccines, therapeutics, and other mitigation areas.
Why aren't we going to get control of the pandemic?
Because it is a contagious virus, just like the flu.
Yeah, but why not make efforts to contain it?
Well, we are making efforts to contain it.
By running all over the country, not wearing a mask?
Jake,
that's what the vice president's doing.
We can get into the back and forth. Let me just say this, is what we need to do is make sure that we have the proper mitigation factors, whether it's therapies or vaccines or treatments, to make sure that people don't die from this. But to suggest that we're going to actually quarantine all of America, lock down our economy.
No one's saying that.
Well, they are. Joe Biden's saying that. He says lock everybody down. We're going to have a dark winter. We're going to have a dark winter.
That's what health officials say. That's what health officials say, that it's going to get worse.
No,
that's
Joe Biden's
worst days.
Jake,
let's be honest. Infections, Friday and Saturday.
Let's be honest here. The health officials did not say dark winter. Those were Joe Biden's words.
He was quoting a health official. I think he was quoting William Haseltine.
When we look at the number of cases increasing, what we have to do is make sure that we fight it with therapeutics and vaccines, take proper mitigation factors in terms of social distancing and masks when we can. And when we look at this, we're going to defeat it, Jake, because we're Americans. We do that. And this president is leading while Joe Biden is sitting there suggesting that we're going to mandate masks.
The president is holding rallies all over the country.
That's correct.
In fact, we're leaving. No masks required, no distancing. There have already been, according to health officials, contact tracing. There have already been cases of individuals in Minnesota and in Washington, D.C., and in Oklahoma that got the virus at these Trump rallies that Dr. Fauci himself called a super spreader event, the one at the White House.
There's also been contact tracing, Jake.
That is not leading.
There's also been contact tracing from reporters, some with your own group, where they actually have worn masks religiously. And so what I'm here to tell you is we need to find the vaccines and the therapeutics to actually give Americans the relief that this is not a death sentence, because it's not. And yet at the same time, to suggest that any of that is not accurate is just not based on the facts.
Here's the bottom line. We know, according to health officials, that masks are the best thing people can do in terms of trying to prevent the virus from spreading, period. Yeah. That's what they say. Until the vaccine and Operation Warp Speed, and until that all works out, the best thing to do are masks. That's from Dr. Redfield, it's from Dr. Fauci, it's from Dr. Birx, it's from everybody.
Wow, heated debate there. A lot of people are upset with Mark Meadows' wording there, where he said, quote, "We are not going to control the pandemic." A lot of people are very upset about those words today. Let me know if you are too, or if you think that was taken a little bit out of context. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, we will be starting the What's in the Box contest in the next video, so make sure to tune in for that. Make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon on so you don't miss out on new videos. I will keep you updated as soon as new information comes out. You can click on this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.